primary focus of this meeting is to talk, and we've talked about this before with the wheel tax, to see what, and if, we're going to do anything on that. I've got an email from Craig that tells the options that we have, and I don't know if y'all would rather me read it to you, if y'all would rather each one of you read it.
You read it out.
Do a summary of it, read it.
All right, Craig, feel free to chime in if I miss something or anything needs to be said that I don't. It says, following our discussion yesterday afternoon, I'm providing information as to the adoption of a wheel tax in McNairy County. There are basically two ways the wheel tax can be enacted. The County Commission can pass a resolution at 2 consecutive regularly scheduled county commission meetings by a 2/3 majority. If a petition is registered voters amounting to 10% of the total votes cast in the last gubernatorial election is filed with the County Election Commission within 30 days of final approval of the County Commission, then the County Election Commission must call an election on the question of whether the wheel tax should be levied. The County Commission can direct the County Election Commission to call such an election to be held on a regular election or in a special election for the purpose of approving or rejecting the tax. There are certain other requirements, such as substance of the resolution must be printed on the ballots. Tennessee Codes Anointed 58-102. The other option is County Commission can adopt a resolution requesting a member of the General Assembly representing the people of the county to introduce a bill. I think the resolution has to be passed by one time, but must be passed by a 2/3 majority. After a private act bill becomes law, the private act must still obtain local approval before becoming effective. The method of local approval is provided for the private act itself, as set out in the resolution. It can be done either by 2/3 majority of the county commission or by a majority of the voters in a referendum. Also, for the private act to become effective, local approval must take place within any time limit set in the private act, or if no time limit is set in the private act, by December the 1st of the year of enactment. Local approval must then be certified by the Secretary of State by the chairperson of the county commission. This is synopsis of law. And anybody wants to read this, they can read it. Craig, you got any?
That's pretty much it.
Craig, a wheel tax is a special purpose tax. It has to be for a specific purpose and it has to have an end date, right?
It has to be for a specific purpose. I need to check about the end date.
It has to contain an end date. Well, I do believe.
I'm not sure, I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's 20 years, 10 years.
Well, now the year, the term, I'm not sure, but I think we have to set an end date for it to come on.
Well, I know we did last time.
Yes. I think that's the reason why. So I don't know, like I said, I'm not sure of the term, that's what I'm getting at.
No, the problem we had last time is, not the problem, you know, we got to that point where it was enacted to pay off the Justice Center.
Right.
Well, the Justice Center gets paid off,
And still.
but there was nothing in that one that said this is when it stops. And so it just, we were supposed to keep collecting that tax. And I just went to the mayor and at the time and Ronnie Price and said, we're not gonna collect that anymore, but we can't do anything with it.
Right.
People, we kept getting the money, just as it paid off, we couldn't do anything with that money. So no need to collect it, we can't do anything with it. And we finally got that straightened out through the legislature to say it's that. So that's the reason I'm hesitating about the time. I don't think that would have a time, it just said until it's paid off, maybe that was a term. It wasn't a number of years, it just said this until it's paid off.
Right.
So I'm not, I'll look closer to that question you're asking. I do think it has to be set out what you're gonna do, and I think you want to
Yes.
set out.
Of course.
If you're gonna do one, I think you'd be wise to set out what it is to be used for.
A wheel tax cannot be for operating expenses.
That's right.
It's a special purpose tax.
Also have numbers here as to what each county in the state of Tennessee is collecting, which ones are and which ones are not. If anybody wants to see that. I think it's, I didn't know if anybody would want to see it, but
You make a good secretary.
about 2/3 of the counties in the state are collecting the tax. I think there's 38 counties out of the 95 that are not.
Now, with that being said about it being a special purpose tax, what's our purpose?
The roads only.
Paving what? It's gotta be a specific, here's what you're getting,
Obviously, we paving the county roads.
but how many miles? Or for how long, or what's the end
I
of it?
mean, there's a way of knowing how many miles, and then the cost of paving will go up every year.
As long as we're not in airplanes, we need roads.
And that, you're right, but I mean, how many miles is in the county again? 800,
767.
767?
We're not-
So would it have to be, it'd have to be probably specific to that, wouldn't it?
767 miles.
To say, to put something, it has to, it can't just be an operating expense.
Because we're not taking more
Again, I need to look closer to that, but I think, I think if you've got to decide it's gonna be, then they strictly for the paving of the roads. That's what it's gonna say, it's gonna be paving of the roads. Is that a general operating expense? Is that your question? You look at our budget, I'm not sure it is or not a general operating expense.
I wouldn't consider it that, and I guess depending on how you analyze the process. I mean, you could say paving the roads, but obviously if you don't repair the roads before you pave them, if you pave over rusted out cover,
Then
you're wasting your time. So I think that's gonna have somewhat be.
Probably get a little
process.
sticky with a, they just
You know,
paid
just put
25 cent,
roads in.
25 cent gas tax to take care of the road, why am I paying it twice? type
Well,
thing?
Keith, I mean, if it goes to roads, it'd be maintenance, because even when you pave roads, you still have to put gravel.
What I don't want to happen,
I understand.
what I am not gonna go for is to set that bag out there again and people not know what's in it.
But it's-
I am not going for that.
I
Yes,
understand.
if we did that, I mean, obviously.
So before we put any kind of thing out there about a wheel tax, the first thing I want to put out there is what it's going to be, what it's going to be for. I want it specific on what it's going to be for. I don't want a bag of, here, hold the bag, and this, we ain't doing it.
That's the way it's gonna be laid out.
So with that being said, first we got to establish what we're going to do with it. Second, we got to establish how much it cost is before you can determine how much of a wheel tax you need to put on. This, I think we need $100, ain't gonna fly. Not with me. I'll not vote for it. I wanna know why you think we need $100 and where the cost is. Where's $25? What's $25 gonna get us? How many miles? What's that gonna do?
Well, you can determine what that'll do at the cost at this given time, but next year.
Well, I mean, you can have an educated guess on what it's gonna be, or, on the past history, how much it went up and all that, you can kind of have an educated guess on it. But, again, it needs to be specific. Now, I've been through this once, guys, I ain't going through that junk voter where I can't look at the voters and say, here's what you're gonna get, and here's why, here's how much, this is what it's gonna take to pay for it. And I would think, I ain't saying I'm against it by no means. But I wanna make sure I look my people that elected me in the eye and say, here's what you're getting for this amount. And if I can't do that, I might vote for it. And I don't think y'all would either, but we just need to, we need to hash that out and get to that point.
That's why it passed last time.
That's right.
Well, I do think this, I think, it depends on what you do with that money. So if you say we're gonna buy equipment and employees and we're gonna, then you're probably getting close to that being an operating expense. If you say, we're gonna use paved roads and you bid it out, that's what you do, you bid that out, jobs out and you pay for that work.
But to me, a wheel tax, that's what it's for.
That would not be an operating expense, I don't think, in my mind, it's just, without looking at it closer.
But we just need to hash that out.
You gotta decide what you're gonna do.
Right.
And that's opposite, make a difference. Well, you would think it'd make a difference to some people, it may not make any difference to a lot of people, but some people.
Right.
So we just call, goes to the paving fund.
What are you gonna pay? I mean, what are you gonna do with it? I mean,
It's according to how much you make,
Get
how
the,
much.
get your money, right, how much it is. You don't know how much you're gonna pay a year.
Some kind of plan, you know, where you're gonna start.
$25 would just be about 6 miles.
Can you operate if you put it on the word pavement?
What's it?
You don't have to.
I'm talking about if you pass a wheel tax, offset the difference in what the budget is, and then all of that money goes toward paving, can you operate that? Can you function as a department? Does it help you function as a department?
Obviously, it helps.
What?
When you pave a road, that cuts the maintenance down
I agree
considerably.
with that, but again, you gotta have operational costs. That's what your problem is right now.
That's true.
Well, wheel tax can't go for operations.
And, but I'm gonna be clear about it. Just do it,
I mean, we can talk about, we can throw these numbers out there, and that's the last thing I want to do, is start throwing numbers out when we don't know what it's going for and how much it's gonna cost.
Well, the only consideration that I ever had on this, for it to go before a vote or be passed is for payment. You don't want it to buy equipment, you don't want maintenance equipment, you want it to pay roads. That's the only option I would see to do with it, and the only way that I would ask for it.
So now, on how to word that or how to structure that in a wheel tax,
That'll be a resolution.
maybe resolution, how you go about that? That's up to you and CTAS and everybody else to get on board on that, I don't know. But until we figure that out, I don't think we know, we can't go any further because we don't know what it's gonna cost. We don't know how much the wheel tax has to be.
Well, you know how many miles you got, you know what it costs roughly per mile of paving. so that's-
Now, today,
I don't think.
Well, I
That'll
mean,
give you some
that
idea.
number 120.
767.
Per mile.
Oh, per mile.
120.
Yeah. Look at $100 million to pay the whole county.
And how often do you have to be done? 10 or 12 years?
Normally every 15 to 20 years.
Not that long. I know some hadn't been
Yeah, I
done.
mean, there's a lot to this. So you gotta figure it out, you
Yeah.
gotta figure out where you start,
That's
where
what
you're gonna
we're
finish.
working
Who's
on.
exempt from paying it, I mean, is there gonna be any kind of exemptions, you know,
How many more years you like on the road project? Are we about halfway through with it on the money?
No, we're more than happy, we're almost complete with it.
Yeah, we ain't got a month.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking about how much more we got on that 3 cents a gallon. I mean, that's what's paying that note. Is that correct?
As far as that amount, you know, that,
At 9 million that we borrowed, you got
Yeah.
15 years to pay that,
Yeah.
14 something, 3 cents a gallon.
yeah, we're close to halfway through. I have to look to see what the exact number is. We're close to halfway through on that.
It went in at 18 or 19?
18.
18.
Of course, the purpose of this meeting, you know, is just to see if this body is in favor of making that recommendation, and then, of course, Greg will have to help or actually, I guess, draw the paperwork up. resolution and worded like it should be, and
With all that being 100%, yeah, and everybody complains about the roads, and now they're gonna be willing to pay for it, get them fixed, you know?
Well, again, I don't think, I don't know how much.
Right. I think there's a lot to figure out before you can start looking at them.
Yeah.
And whispering to the public anymore, so.
Well, the thing is, depending how long that takes, legislature goes in session in January, and there's nothing hammered out to get it there in time to put on in the agenda, it'd be another year for it to get one of the books.
But I'd rather for it to be another year and have a chance on it, trying to rush it up and then
Right.
put something out there and then
Everything-
there you go, another 10, 15 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you.
If we're gonna do it, we need to do it right. We need to have our stuff, or T's crossed and I's dotted when we do it.
Do you know how many registered vehicles we have?
23,000.
1-3-ish.
That's actually dropped.
It's better than 23,000. It's not-
Well, it's 25 last time we done it. That's what they was figuring on. What the figure was, 25,000 some odd tag.
We can get over to Ross tomorrow and get that, get that
What
number looked pretty
what
good.
did, right, 25?
It's been pretty much in the same category
I was
all
reading what
along.
24 or something.
talking about how much, $25 would do it, 23,000 vehicles. That's where we're coming up with numbers. What's tax, what you suggest the tax be levied at, just how much that number will be. We can get an exact number on that.
Do you think, so we can kind of agree that it needs to go toward paving the roads?
Absolutely. The only place that I would suggest it would be coming to it. I think that's the only hope we have of getting it passed.
Again, I don't know how you would, how that would,
Like the word improvement might be better than pave. It's like the word improvement, road improvement, that's not maintenance.
That'll do the details, you know. but
you can get in there.
I can improve the road without paving the road. And so if you sell it to everybody, you're gonna pave the roads,
And you improve
to
the
improve the
road.
road, that may be an issue. Plus, the roads may need to be improved, I'm not saying they're not. But again, you get into some of the issue of whether or not that's operating expense versus capital expense, really. And let's face it, no matter how you go about this, the county commission and people are going to sell this to the typical person. And you know, I think most people say, yeah, we need better roads, but when people say that, the question is, are they willing to pay for better roads? But I don't know. I'd ask, our initial conversation, well, what about equipment? Are we gonna do it or not and do it? Because I'm sort of put it in my mind, which is which. And at least as I sit here tonight, I think that, again, as I said earlier, you're always gonna have to bid that out. And then somebody else take no other employees from our standpoint to bid it out under the work and go from there. But that's something I want to think about that again, you know, this is just off the top of my head. That's scary.
Is there not other counties that just use it specifically for roads? So you see how they work theirs?
I don't know, I mean, the biggest thing, to be honest with you, is gonna be the amount. I mean, I can't draw a resolution, but y'all tell me how much you want.
And we don't know what
What's
the
the amount, but then I can draw a resolution, and we ain't working on language. That's something I'd have to check into. I have not done anything about, beyond that, what you've got there in front of you. That's all I've done this time. I hadn't looked at anything else.
So we just need a nod from everybody to keep going with this, is that what we're kind of asking a minute?
I think that's what we're asking, is everybody in favor of pursuing this?
I've been in favor of the inquiry, on checking into it and seeing what,
I got a question for Harvey. What was that figure on the total package? Did you say 100 million?
Around 100 million to pave every road in the county, if the cost is what it is today. I think,
So does that mean that you would have, he referenced bidding that out and whatever, but there's no way that Marion County could hire the paving crew, buy the equipment and do it and try to keep our I mean, is that part of what a package that would give us quote unquote quality roads and making it down?
Well, I'm not gonna say we couldn't do that, but, I mean, it'd be difficult
It would,
to hire, you know, the qualified crew you need to do.
Well, you're gonna add back to your operating costs
The
there.
equipment is gonna be substantial, what it's gonna cost.
oh, I ain't no doubt, but if you're paying a contractor to come in, you're gonna pay.
Yeah. no, it's-
So, but here's where I'm going with that. I mean, just like with the inflation that hit us on the road project, I mean, if we could have hired and done, I think we could have stretched a little further if inflation hadn't got us. But my question is, you're talking about selling a project. I mean, if you had the manpower, you had the equipment, and you could do that, and you've got 100 million, and we're talking about however many years,
Right.
but you're talking about a quality road system in our county, now you've got something to sell.
Well, That's true, I mean, that's a valid point, but, you know, whether that can be done here, you know, to hire the qualified people, because it's difficult to hire an operator in Macon County.
Yeah, so you're talking about, you know,
Well, bid now, they went in that, what, one bid most time.
Sometimes one, sometimes.
When we tried to bid this last out, had one bid come in from one company.
Yeah, we had two. There's never much difference in the cost.
is it 100 million based on today's cost?
Yes. I think it was what, 95, 97 million, somewhere.
About 95, I ran it the other day, 100.
And that's the hot mix every road.
So you need $5 million a year for 20 years.
But that does not include any maintenance on the road.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Maybe in the three culverts on a 5 mile stretch of road that they replaced, but that cost, what, $200? Weak places in the road need to be dug out, stabilized, ditches. There's a lot more to a road than just going out there and spreading hot mix to fix it. Have it last. Don't do it right. Drainage right, get the drainage of the culverts replaced. You're wasting your time.
100 million.
Could you sit down and say $25 wheel tax, $50 wheel tax, or 75, that draw up a budget about the money that it would bring in, today's cost, and how many miles you can do with each one of them, and give us a budget and paper where people can actually see it. Okay.
I could do that.
But right now, we're just talking, but we don't have nothing in writing in front of us to refer it to.
Of course, I couldn't do that till, you know, there was a number out there, you know, that's the question. Are you wanna do $25, you wanna do 50, you wanna do 100?
Well, you're getting your numbers, sound like you got a overall cost of 100 million. So, kinda like Nicky was saying, $100 million,
20 years.
20 years, that's $5 million a year, and you got 23,000.
$217 a lick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be spaced out that way. I mean, you couldn't expect to do it all in a year. It would take-
I ain't sure you can do 100 mile in 20 years.
I mean, even at $50 each, that's only 10 miles a year, you know, that's nothing.
But you gotta figure out a way to make up this shortfall somewhere. He's $1.2 million
That's
short
true.
in his budget.
Mayor, we gonna have a property tax.
I don't know about that, but depending on this, I guess, how this goes down.
Fairest way.
Could you take, how much do you get now?
Me and
outside
Tricia's
of-
on one
if you
vote
did
yes on
well,
that.
how much did you get like state? Could you use that for the offset the 1.2 million? that have to be
It's not
used?
enough to even like a bid yet. I got the numbers on that. This year for paving, we get $294,402.
You still don't need to use that, you still be $1 million short.
I mean, that's nothing. I mean, when I started this job, we were getting over $1 million a year, they just kept cutting it. It's not enough to, like I said, knock it in.
Well, knocks that 100 million down to 85. 85 or 90,
20 years.
over 20 years.
start with that and pass it
Oh,
See,
back up.
you got no guarantee you're
Just
gonna get that much.
Right.
It may be half that, it may be twice that.
Yeah, on average.
Whatever the state decides to divvy out to each county.
Does every county road need paving, or can
No,
you set a
not all of
goal
them. Some
for
of them, the ones that
which
do,
ones you want to?
Some of them, the 9 million just paved.
a lot of them have recently been paved and don't need anything. It won't for probably 10 years.
So that's gonna knock you 100 million down to 90 million now.
It's not every road in the county. I'm gonna say there's probably 70% of the roads in the county that need paved.
So we need probably a little closer figure than that 100 million to do what we come up with.
I'll do that, I'll get some more figures together.
And I think, how many miles of road can be paved? We only have, particularly, we only have one company bid, how many miles can actually be paved in the paving season? Because that may knock that number down, you can't expect it to all be done in a year. Not realistically.
Well, so everybody knows that paving is a slow process.
And so that's gonna affect how much money will be generated. And I don't think.
So what we have, 10 mile on average of that 9 million a year paved?
10, 12 mile a year paving.
So there you go. That's on
I
average.
mean, that's not as much as they could do, that's just all that we were trying to do a year.
How much do you think they could do? Money is that?
Say that a company like that we had the last contract with could probably do 30, 40 miles a year easily.
And that's 3 million a year.
Did the new Bethel road last? Did the new Bethel road last? It's falling apart.
It's about 140, 100. I would think.
I believe it's
Probably
something.
217. We get around.
I think that was standard.
On you, on what you think?
Hey, if we're only paving like 30 to 40 miles a year, you're looking 20 years to cross.
Almost across town.
That's a 20-year plan.
Just start off.
At 40 miles, or 30 to 40 miles a year. At 90 million now,
Yeah.
if you're gonna fund this whole thing, you're looking $200 bill.
Yeah, what is it, 217
Well,
million?
we calmed it, we took 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, we calmed it.
But, without all the money, instead of 30 or 40, maybe it could just be 20, and on how much funds you're trying to generate.
Well,
out of that.
All the roads in Manion County is not hot mix. So out of that 767 right now, you got what? Hot mix.
Is that just the roads that the county maintains, 767,000, or that total road?
It's total.
Total miles.
It's total miles. That
We
would
take
make
the
it.
city maintains.
No, that's not including the city. Nothing in the city, that's just what the county is.
About 50% hot mix, somewhere like
It's
that.
not that much,
Less.
probably 35.
So you come looking at that just for if we would be,
Right, if we're gonna pursue this, we're.
so if we could, if people's open to the idea.
Yeah, just, everybody's idea of what they think, how much.
I'd be interested in the inquiry myself, but I mean, that's what I think that's everybody.
Absolutely. Well, I'll get some more figures together, of course, like Craig said, before he can do anything, as far as adopt the resolution, he's gonna have to have a number, we're gonna ask for $25, we're gonna ask for $200.
I think we got no more work to do.
Yeah, we got some.
Bad
Hey,
idea.
you're gonna decide which way you're gonna try to go. You're gonna go
Yeah,
do a private act.
the two options on that list.
Well, we need some figures before we,
Well, I'm not saying leave it up, I'm not saying the chicken and egg, I'm saying you guys let me know which way you're gonna go, so I don't which resolution.
Do you have to confirm a sunset?
I will do that on that.
I mean, that is a mandate or no?
I don't know, I'm gonna have to check that, see, that's one note I made here tonight. But I don't think, again, I'm not, and I could be mistaken, I wasn't involved directly in the last one, I don't think it had a sunset date, of course, you know, it was just like.
it was for the private, it was for the project.
Project.
So it was just to pay off that debt, justice center.
Yes, sir.
And so, everybody kind of knew that it was gonna be probably 30 years, or close to 30 years, but nobody, I'm not sure it had a date. I'll double check that, see, I could be
But-
wrong, and it may require an outside what I'm saying.
In this situation, a continuing expense, would it have to have a sunset?
Well, again,
Yeah.
I don't know the answer.
Or would it have to be structured to say, like, well, the 9 million's gonna do 10 miles or whatever? You know, would it have to be that specific?
I don't think it had to be that specific, but I will have double check that,
I
so.
don't think anybody would have an answer to that, because nobody knows what the increase in cost will be this year.
And I would suggest that you know, this is gonna be different, but just so you knew that payoff was coming.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Quite frankly, this paving
This
project.
is a reoccurring.
It could be forever.
Forever, yeah.
We had a paving project, what, 2000 or
That's
99?
my point.
Somewhere in there.
Resolution.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you're looking at, those roads, people use them, the more they use them, the more they, I don't care how good a road is built, it's still going to wear out of it. So that's something I need to check that out, I don't know the answer.
That original project, I keep going back there, but Harvey, that was about 60% is about what that 9 million was designed, if my memory serves correct. Was that about right?
60% of the
County roads, that 9 million at that time.
I don't think it was that much.
I thought it was about 58%, if my memory's right.
How long ago was that?
What were we at?
2018.
Did we make it to the 50, did we make it 50%?
No.
I mean, how many miles would we do?
I have
Or
to
we got
check.
completed?
It was completed, but I don't know the exact number of miles it was done, but
Well, here's what I'm going after. If we're gonna do it, let's make sure it's 100% where it'll sail. Whatever the project, whatever the details.
it was like we were talking, you know, when that project was initiated in 2018, you know, we based whatever that number of miles was, what the price was in 2018. In 2021, it was, well, twice that. Because when I started this job in 2006, the price of Paving County Road was $30,000 a mile. And now it's $120,000. That's in 18 years. So, it's where you be.
What's our typical sale cost?
It's about half the paving cost.
4,000.
50% of the paving cost is, but you get what you pay for, about that life of it. It's just not a good road.
I say let's table this until our next meeting, until we can get some more figures and, like you said, get our I's dotted and our T's crossed. And that way we'll know more about it and what route to take and so forth.
Well, for one thing, sure, I think those numbers throwed out.
Premature, yeah.
Putting the cart in front of the horse, I mean,
Everybody wants to know what they're buying.
so, I mean, we need to figure out what we're gonna give them and for how much.
How long they'll win, yeah.
And how long, that's right. So, yeah,
I guess we all been smart to do that.
Sounds like. Well, that's all I've got that needs to be discussed tonight.
that may be all you have, but look at, no.
When you get those numbers, send them to me, and I'll send them out to everybody, so they can have some time to think about it before the meeting is okay.
All right, I will.
And the road list.
And this is how much wheel tax the county has across Tennessee?
Actually, the majority of it, I think it would.
They said 30 of them.
It's 38 that we don't.
38 out of 96 don't have a wheel tax.
This.
I ain't got no problem.
$15.
That's all you give me, huh? Unless the mayor threw, he may have threw it away. He wouldn't make it.
shut it in there, Art.
He opened for a ream of paper.
He's holding it.
How many did that for him on that paper?
Guess he kept mine, too.
Hey, he did.
I started out. You made 2 different copies.
I made you a copy of the first sheet that you gave out and then the county by themselves.
Yeah.
That's all.
That was all yours.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I don't remember.
You know what, Smith, you gotta keep your eye on.
This has the cost of the ones that.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, it's got the number, how much money that the counties are paying wheel tax. And it may not be going for wheel, I'm sure they ain't all going for road.
Yeah, but some of them about the actual, one of them here, the local areas, going for credit. Well, that's it, that's all I've got.
Anybody have anything, anybody make a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.